Picture this. A workplace revolution where traditional hierarchies crumble and employees are set free from the chains of the corporate ladder. Enter the wild world of holacracy and self-management, where the rules are tossed out of the window and innovation is the name of the game. What, you say?
Huh?
What is that? This is another new flip for the traditionalist in leadership, where the traditional hierarchical model is replaced with a fluid, more self-organizing approach that distributes decision-making and authority. Picture a place where decisions don't come down from the top, but bubble up from every part of the organization. In a holacratic organization, decision-making is no longer the exclusive realm of the upper management. Instead, it is a distributed model that involves the individuals with their actual knowledge and expertise. Decision-making authority is delegated to roles, ensuring that those closest to the work can make the most effective decisions, without the need for all of that unnecessary bureaucracy. This decentralized decision-making model is facilitated by a series of meetings known as either tactical meetings or governance meetings. The tactical meetings focus on operational issues and problems and are an opportunity for really rapid decision-making. The governance meetings address broader issues such as the structure and processes of the organization. These meetings ensure that the organisation remains adaptive and agile, responding to changing situations. By involving individuals with diverse knowledge and expertise in the organisation, Holacracy promotes inclusivity and empowers employees at all levels. This not only enhances the quality of the decisions, but also increases employee engagement and satisfaction. Instead of making a yearly plan and sticking through it no matter what, Holacracy requires evolving and adapting continuously. Regular meetings are held as a great check-in. What did we do? What did we do well? What do we need to do next? This may sound like a chaotic way to run a business, but really it's not. Why, you say? Because the organisation's purpose is at the heart of every decision that is made. There is no chaos where everyone in the organisation understands what the purpose is that they are driving for and what falls within their sphere of influence. In fact, it makes a whole lot more sense than trying to forecast or predict an organisation's future in a lot of the traditional models. Forecasting generally requires you to look at past performance and past situations to determine what could be the outcome into the future. It's quite limiting, not always accurate, and can encourage rigidity as people try to align with what was predicted rather than being far more innovative. Holacracy is about consensus. In a traditional organisation, you generally have to get a whole bunch of approvals before you can really put in place something meaningful. In order to get those approvals, you often need to do something a little bit political in order to try and get approval from others or convince them that your idea or your new process is a good idea. You don't necessarily need to be a full-blown politics monster to get things done. However, you do generally need to find a way to fit in so that people like you and by extension will improve your ideas. With Holacracy, the decision-making process changes entirely. You still have to present your ideas to the collective intelligence. After all, there's a lot of it around. You won't be the only one that knows the right way to do things. However, they don't have to approve every single thing that you do. You're free to experiment as long as they aren't all opposed to your idea. It may sound like quite a small change, but it's actually a huge shift. Why? Because this requires you to take responsibility for your actions. If you've put forward an idea and the group has approved it in the sense that they haven't opposed it, then everybody's responsible for that idea and making sure that it has a good outcome. When you ask somebody to approve something, then you share that responsibility. And because you share that responsibility, you're less likely to give the green light to something that you're not 100% sure is actually a good idea. And I think we find this a lot in leadership, where you feel that heavy weight of responsibility, knowing that decisions made do have consequences. However, if you share your ideas with somebody or a group and you're You're not asking them to share responsibility, but you're giving them the opportunity to raise any objections to the proposal. They are much less likely to kill your idea altogether, and one would hope they would only do that if they thought there was a flaw with your proposal. Otherwise, they'd much rather get on with their own projects than start an argument with you. Now, part of holacracy in an organisation is about self-management. This means that employees negotiate among themselves to ensure that roles are allocated to the most suitable person. Likewise, an employee can reject or exchange roles, offering the role or parts of the role to another person more suited to the task, in agreement with all the members of that particular group. Holacracy really emphasised transparency in roles, responsibilities and decision-making processes. This fosters a culture of trust and accountability, as individuals are expected to fill their roles and be transparent about what they're working on. In most companies with a holacracy arrangement in place, there is agreement that is set up, which in some situations is known as a constitution. This outlines how the organisation is to operate and defines every employee's field of action. Constitutional rules are the same for everybody, regardless of the role that they fulfill within the organisation. To fulfill their roles, employees are free to take actions and make decisions unless the Constitution disallows it. You might be wondering, how does an organisation possibly operate without a boss or bosses in place, or that layer of management that we are all used to? Well, one company that has fully embraced this concept is called the Morning Star. The Morning Star company operate 3 tomato processing facilities in Central California. They process over 35% of the Californian crop, plus tomato transplant growing, agricultural technology innovation, harvesting and trucking operations. Employment is approximately 550 people year-round, with annual sales exceeding $1 billion. So this is no small little organisation that has taken on holacracy as part of their ethos. They have structured themselves into a system known as mission-focused self-management. The company is operated by colleagues without official hierarchical titles. Leadership is dynamic and situational and is based on competency and integrity. They have made it essential that everyone needs to grasp that the organisation is an abstract concept. Instead, organisations are represented by individuals who make decisions, negotiate deals, and address concerns collectively. At Morning Star, each team member embraces a personal and commercial mission. This mission isn't just a list of daily tasks, it's the why behind their actions. One of the quotes from their team is, "Helping to empower others to believe in themselves and our culture gives me happiness here at Morning Star." Can you imagine embracing this level of autonomy as a leader? Your teams would transcend their roles with trust, navigating tasks and direction independently with the freedom to make decisions on their own, and everyone is welcome to the leadership arena. Describing it as a balancing act might be an understatement. It's more like walking a tightrope above a pool of dynamic challenges, injecting thrill with just a touch of that risk. The cultural transformation is so profound, turning the office into a place where innovation reigns and the only constant is change. I've been in leadership for over 17 years and I have not seen this being put in action before. Let me know in the comments, are you on the tightrope for holacracy and self-management, where there's no hierarchy and there's no managers or direction? Or are you a tried and true traditionalist? I personally would kind of like to give this a go. I think it could work. If people feel empowered to make decisions and the responsibility to see the outcome of those, I think it's great. Let me know in the comments and check out my other video linked here on transparent leadership for another non-traditionalist approach.